Happy Halloween, guys! Welcome to episode 26 of Pokemon Generation 1. Last we left off, we basically swept the Celadon Gym, and that's about it. Now, I saved this particular area for today because it's time for the Pokemon Tower. First things first, there is something I want to show off in the Pokemon Tower. And in order to do this, I'll have to purposefully deposit the Silph Scope. So long as we're here, though, may as well deposit a few other things. We never need the lift key again, that's for sure. We're also going to store TM21 because that's at least an okay TM, at least in this game. And there we go, the Silph Scope is in the PC for the time being. There's a reason for this. Anyway, interesting little thing about this girl. That white hand on your shoulder, it's not real. When they reference this in Pokemon Origins, if you look at Red's shoulder, when they mention the white hand, you can actually very faintly see a white hand. Neat little touch. Anyway, this is a Pokemon grave site. Yeah! Those Pokemon you've been training and battling can in fact die. Now you don't have to worry about your own Pokemon dying throughout the course of the game, but worth noting that such a concept exists. Now your rival being here poses a bit of an interesting theory. Take a look at his team as we go along. You'll notice something's missing. Ooh, Gyarados. If you had chosen Charmander at this point, he would not have Gyarados whatsoever. And speaking of this Gyarados, he cheated. This fucker has Hydro Pump. Need I add, Gyarados actually learns Hydro Pump at level 50. Or was it 55? Or that might have been Hyper Beam, I'm not sure. Growlithe. If you had chosen Bulbasaur, he would not have this Growlithe. Yeah, Machamp. Rock Slide. Everyone's getting level ups today. Nice. Kadabra, really the same old song and dance, but I'd rather not risk having Machamp out against this guy. So, Flareon, do what you do oh so well. Hyper Beam, or not. Pfft, waste your turn doing Teleport, really? Also, I'm technically over-leveled for this fight. You're not actually supposed to wait this long. You're actually supposed to come in here right away and do this fight, right as you get to Lavender Town. But I skipped it for the time being to prevent backtracking later on. Now, Ivysaur here, had you not chosen Squirtle, later on I think it would instead be an Execute, or you'd have an Execute right now. Now, notice what was missing. His Raticate. Yeah, realistically I think he actually stored it in the PC. But some believe that you killed your rival's Raticate. Hence why he's at the Pokemon Tower. It's just a theory, but realistically he probably just stored it in a PC. Well, in a PC box rather, which goes into something that's really fucking stupid about this generation. Box switching. You had to save every time you wanted to switch boxes, and if your one box is full, you can't catch anything until you switch those boxes. Yeah, really stupid. Question, if you caught a Cubone, why wasn't it in your party? I guess that would also be why he's actually here, is to catch Cubone and Marowak. Now going into some other Gen 1 glitches, because I do have a list. Oh yeah, if you don't have the Silph Scope, this is all you're running into. Ghosts. And since you can't identify them, yeah, that's all you can do. So excuse me for a second while I go get the Silph Scope back. Back in a moment. Gotta love how the player character is facing in the wrong direction. Well, technically the right direction, but still, back at it. And Ghastly. The Ghastly line is the final trait evolution line we're going to be running into. Not going to be using it here, but Gengar, although slower and slightly weaker than Alakazam, trades it on for some rather tricky moves and some immunities. Notably being a ghost type, it's immune to both normal and fighting type attacks. It's ghost poison to be exact. Also the only actual ghost types in Gen 1. Now I'm actually going to be ignoring most of these trainers and fighting them off screen. Reason being, I just don't feel like wasting my time. Yeah, because as you'll notice, some of these episodes, notably the Rock Tunnel episode, was nearly an hour long. 50 to 51 minutes to be exact. So, I really don't want to waste your guys' time. So yeah, if there is something I do end up missing, I'll probably get it off screen. If it's an invisible item and I don't know where it is, well, nothing I can do there. These channelers are possessed and they are rocking the Ghastly line. Well, only Ghastly and Haunter, Ghastly's evolved form, and one of my favorite ghost types to this day. And to be fair, that's mostly because of the anime. Indigo League episode 24, Haunter vs. Kadabra. Yes, I remember that episode well. Now speaking of ghost types, that major error I talked about regarding psychic types? Psychic is actually supposed to be weak to Ghost, but due to an error in typing, well in terms of type matchups rather, Psychic is actually immune to Ghost in Gen 1. Try and make sense of that. Now the Ghastly line, Gengar especially, became really good in Generation 3 when they gained the ability Levitate, which made them technically immune to ground type moves, which for a while was one of their biggest weaknesses. Unfortunately, come Sun and Moon, Gengar would get nerfed by losing Levitate and instead having Cursed Body, which is nowhere near as good. Unfortunately, I only have Rock Slide that I can use on Ghastly with Machamp. Seems the poor guy won't be getting much experience out of this one. I mean, unless I decide to do some off-screen grinding, but so it goes. Let's check over here while I'm over here. You'd think there'd be something over there, but apparently not. Hey, Haunter! Again, one of my favorite ghost types. Nightshade, much like Seismic Toss, it's fixed damage based on level. And until we got Shadow Ball, it was the only good ghost type move out there. Because Lick, Quilladon Demonstrato, although it can cause paralysis like we saw there, it's fairly weak. Now, interestingly enough, from what I'm aware, the Gengar line does have better special coverage than the Abra line, but either way, the Purified and Protected Zone. So I am going to have to fight one of these channelers, and for the record, this basically acts like a mini Pokemon Center in the middle of the dungeon, so quite nice that. Rock Slide, and Lick. Wow, that's paralyzed more frequently than I thought it would. Anyway, I mentioned there was a substitute TM back in the Celadon Game Corner. I never went into two glitches it has. For one thing, if you have exactly 25% health, in Machamp's case 25 HP out of 100 right now, if I were to go for substitute in that situation, Machamp would be going down. Because yes, if you have exactly 25% health and you use substitute, you kill yourself. I'm not kidding. Also, substitutes don't protect you from status ailments. On top of that, if the opposing Pokemon kills a substitute with a Hyper Beam, they don't have to recharge. The same thing goes for if you kill a substitute with Hyper Beam. And if you kill one with Explosion or Self-Destruct, you don't die from using that move. Yeah. Pretty weird. But anyway, since we've reached pretty much the halfway point, I'm going to go ahead and fight the other trainers off screen. Back in a moment. And just because I wanted to show this off, rare encounter in this area, Cubone. Now I don't plan on actually using a Cubone, but hey, good to know it's here. Okay, let's try one Rock Slide and see if it weakens it without taking it out. But it's Machamp, so... surprisingly, it did fairly well at what it needed to do. Again, I don't plan on using a Cubone, and that critical actually went pretty well. But because it's a rare encounter, may as well catch the damn thing. I should have a few Great Balls left. Wait, I don't? Well, crap, that was all for nothing. But hey, for those of you who want to know where Cubone is, there you go. Right, for real this time, I'll be right back. Right, I already picked it up, but if you press A here, you get an elixir. Much like how an Ether restores one move's power points by 10, elixirs restore all of the moves of one Pokemon by 10 power points. So, quite nice. Also, as you might be able to expect, somewhat rare. And much like how there's max ethers, there's also max elixirs. Try and guess how rare those are. Wow, random encounter within the first 3 steps after one already happened. Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum flashbacks, anyone? Now, unfortunately, if you couldn't tell by the typing we're seeing here, like Ghost mostly, Flareon's pretty much getting none of the experience around here until the very end. Reason being, it's got all normal type moves. Guess what Ghost is immune to? Yeah, fun times. He lies. Anyway, while you're in the purified and protected zone, you don't run into any random encounters. So if you need a break to just aimlessly run around in circles, I don't know why you would want to though, but you can. Didn't mean to go that way, but... oh, hey, Honda. Honda are fairly uncommon, and Cubone are fairly rare. I think we've seen everything we can run into in this area. And by that I mean the Pokémon Tower in general. Nightshade. And one more Thunderbolt for good measure. Of course, now you're critical. You know what, that's gonna bother me. Hey, that 25 health can make a difference, what of it? Prick. And Ghastly. No big deal, really. Normally I just completely bypass these guys, because, well, I normally run from random encounters unless I'm purposely grinding. But, well, may as well. Besides, Raichu needs some experience around here. Optional trainer, but there's an item down there. To be fair, this channeler is possessed, so it all makes sense. Actually, you look more like a shrine maiden than a channeler. No, seriously, look at the outfit when we get the chance again. Which will be fairly soon. Okay, another Ghastly, meaning I'm guessing her last Pokemon is a Haunter. Nope, it's just 3 Ghastlys. And they all go down exactly the same way. See what I mean? Seriously, that looks more like a Shrine Maiden outfit than a Channeler outfit. Am I the only one who can't see that? Well, who can see it, rather? X accuracy, I know I'm saying this a little late, but it's just there to be sold. I don't normally use X items. Surf's up! Oh, so good that I got Surf on that Pikachu, which is now a Raichu, because I don't have to worry about ground types anymore. Man, do I wish Alolan Raichu could have learned Surf. I will keep saying it, it looks more like a Shrine Maiden outfit to me. I say this because I know what a Shrine Maiden outfit looks like due to, again, being a bit of a Toho fanatic. Reimu Hakurei in particular, as well as if we're talking Sailor Moon, Rei Hino, whom in the Viz Media redub is voiced by Christina V, whom some of you might also know as Compa from Hyper Dimension Neptunia. So, interesting little detail that. She's also the one who did the English cover for Bad Apple, which is a Toho music video, named for one of the stage themes from Toho 4 Lotus Land Story. I believe stage 3, actually. And another Ghastly. Same old song and dance, and same old result. Case in point. Now this rare candy we moved over in, well, excuse me, Ghastly. Excuse me. But you kind of just got in the way of what I was trying to say. Away with you. Anyway, in the original games, this rare candy is mandatory. In Byron and Leaf Green, it would be moved over a little bit, so you can actually avoid it in the remakes. So many random encounters. Well, at the very least, it might mean that Raichu gets a level up out of this. Now, I know I need to level up Wartortle, but that can be done momentarily. It didn't go down in one hit, but paralysis anyway. Confusion. Not fun. Surf's up? Indeed it is. Checking to see if there was something over there, but apparently not. At least not as far as I'm aware. Alright. Let's go ahead and switch Wartortle to the front. Been a while since we've used him. You need the Sylph Scope before coming here, or otherwise you can't do shit. And you have to come here. Marowak. This is actually the Cubone's mother that died when Team Rocket attacked. You wouldn't know this unless you talked to a couple people in the Pokemon house, which is the one right above the Name Raiders house. Now, worth noting, if you try and throw a ball at that Marowak, it's just going to dodge it. Don't bother. Anyway, back in a moment. Alright, let's finish this. Now in yellow you would fight Jesse and James here. Again, just Rocket Grunt instead in this case. Now what I don't think they tell you here is that Team Rocket took over the Pokémon Tower, making it one of their bases of operations. Much like how the Celadon Game Corner had a rocket hideout, that was one of their bases of operations. Now why they would take over the Pokemon Tower, I have no idea, but hey. Zubat, just to get rid of confusion. And hey, it gives Flareon some screen time anyway. So, just do what you normally do. Boom. Golbat, the evolved form of Zubat, like I said before. And this is one time where, well, I actually forgot that Golbat had a really long tongue back in Red and Blue. I think they fixed that for every other sprite. Well, that kind of caught me off guard. And I did not expect it to take that pretty well. Double speed drop. Screech, not that it matters, because, well, you're done anyway. Kind of forgot that Golbat had a really long tongue back then. Don't know if I mentioned this, but the Rocket Grunts did indeed have whips. Cool Trainers did, Tamers did, which makes sense, and like I said before, Sabrina does as well, the Saffron gym leader. I don't know if that picked up on the mic, but pardon that, because, yeah, sometimes my speakers are a little bit staticky. There's really nothing I can do about that, except get new speakers. Because, yeah, these speakers are kind of old. Put it to you this way, they've lasted me a good 8 or so years. At least. So yeah, the speakers lasted longer than my old PC did. Yeah, but I definitely should get new speakers at some point, because these ones are getting kind of ancient. But, that's for another day. Confusion. Okay, you didn't confuse me. Good. Now, if this were Fire and Leaf Green, I'd instead be using Bite because, well, that'd be a Dark type move. I think that's actually the time when that critical wouldn't have been completely useless, so hey, at least there's that. Withdraw, simply a defense boosting move. Anything I could drop for it? Well, Tail Whip for one thing. Now, as far as other glitchy moves, I don't know if I mentioned this one either, but remember how a while back we got Dig? Well, say you use a move like Dig or Fly. If you end up paralyzed, or you hit yourself in confusion on the turn you're supposed to attack, you stay in an underground / high up status, meaning the only way your opponent can hit you at that point while you just constantly wail on them is if you use Swift, well, is if they use Swift rather, or if you go and use Fly/Dig again. I do believe they fixed that one in Pokemon Stadium. Yeah, Stadium fixed a lot of the Gen 1 glitches. Like for example, Focus Energy actually works the way it's supposed to. Speaking of glitchy moves, I may as well go into the next one, Bide. Let's say on turn 1, you get hit with something like, say, Hyper Fang. And then on turn 2, the opponent decides to use, say, Growl or Tail Whip. That Growl/Tail Whip will also count as Hyper Fang damage, even though it's not actual damage. So basically, you can't always avoid being countered by Bide. Very weird, I know. And the last Pokemon here is, for some reason, a frickin' Zubat. Now, I'm probably going to run down the entire list of Gen 1 glitches, but if I missed any, they'll be for another day. Well, I kinda just did get away with it, dude. This is Mr. Fuji, the owner of the Pokemon House, and the one caring for all those abandoned Pokemon. What they don't tell you about that unless you check into Pokemon Origins. At least I don't think they tell you that in this game. And you get warped right back. Talk to Mr. Fuji. And he gives you the Poke-Flute. If a Pokemon is asleep, if you use the Poke-Flute, it wakes them up. Keep this in mind, this is important. We actually do in fact need this item. But hey, since I don't plan on using any of the Ghastly line, or Cubone for that matter, let's go ahead and deposit the Self Scope at this point. Wow, I actually had more elixirs than I thought, unless I picked up 2 of them. Ah, HP up. I actually forgot I had that. Let's see who to give that to. You know what? We'll give this one to Raichu. Actually, did Wartortle just level up? Not quite. How close are you? 945. Well, I do believe next time we'll be training up Flareon a little bit more anyway, so hey, there's that, I guess. Actually, wait, no, we need Raichu up in front next time, so we can do something with the Poke-Flute. As for everything else... well, I've got a little bit of time. Pretty sure this place has a Pokemon anyway. It does. Awesome. Alright, sell off the Awakening. The Nugget. And the X accuracy. Let's go ahead and buy some stuff. 4 more revives. Couple escape ropes, just because I forgot how many I have. And well, just in case I need them. And I'll save the rest of my money for now. Yeah, the place has super repels, so if you want them, go for it. But I'm not going to need them for the time being. Anyway, let's go ahead and heal up our team. and save because we are done with the Pokémon Tower. And next time on Pokemon Generation 1, we're going to be putting that Pokeflute to good use and checking out a special Pokemon. Later, guys.